Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square here with T-Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. Got a great video planned out for you guys today. I don't think it's going to be a very long video. It's Friday. I'm hoping to go live this weekend one night. I won't do the live stream event if there's not at least 5 or 6 of the members on. It's going to be a fun event. People can kind of jump in the chat, talk a little bit, and then we'll do our event once we have a good amount of witnesses. So that we can get some of that free silver out to a couple of the members. If you're not a member and you want to become a member, it's only $1.99 to become a member. In my opinion, it's well worth it. You get a star next to your name. You get recognized as a member of the channel. Plus, it's only $1.99. Plus, your comments go straight to my phone. Plus, you get entered in a monthly event. We will be doing one actually this weekend for last month, and then we're going to do one next weekend, hopefully for this month. So it's a lot of fun. It's well worth it. It's easy. All you do is hit that join button below. If you're on an iPhone, then you have to go to your browser, go to youtube.com, then find T-Square Talk, and then from your browser on the internet, you can become a member that way. iPhones, for some reason, are a little more difficult, but with that being said, a great video planned out for you guys today. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Not super long, but let's get started. So today I want to talk a little bit about a comment that came in, and I think the comment was absolutely correct. You know, the comment was basically when you have people complaining about assets just kind of being stable, not really going up rapidly, although they have done phenomenal. I mean, gold and silver this year has really done well. And some people are complaining that we're kind of stuck at 38. I mean, yes, I'm not going to lie. We got silver stuck at 38 right now. But here's the thing. We're in a good spot. We had a nice run this year. We're up almost $10 this year alone. And the fact that it's holding at 38 during a time of the year when essentially we should see precious metals falling really makes you understand the mentality of people today. That's what we're kind of going to talk about, how the economy is messed up because people want something for nothing now. They want to invest in a penny stock or a penny crypto, and they want it to make them a millionaire overnight. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen. You know, I forgot to say, if you enjoy the video, please hit that thumbs up button for me. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. And if you're not subscribed, do the ultimate. Hit that subscribe button. So, you know, they want something for nothing. And, you know, it's sad that the world has gone this way. It seems like as generations change, it's the younger generation. And literally it's changing faster and faster. You know, I'll be honest, my generation, I'm kind of in the middle there. I'm not the older generation. The oldest generation's still above ground right now. But that was a generation of hardworking people. They worked hard. They spent their whole lives accumulating assets in some cases. Maybe you found out about strong assets like gold, silver, precious metals, retirement plans, all that. Maybe you didn't know about that when you were younger. You just worked, and now you're getting Social Security. But here's the thing. You worked. You worked hard for what you have. You've earned it. And now it feels like everything is just getting so expensive. And it is. As they create more and more fiat dollars, it makes those fiat dollars that you use on a daily basis worth less and less and less. And it almost feels like there's no way out. Then you have that middle generation. That's kind of where I'm at. You know, that, you know, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I understand hard work. I saved. I invested a lot of money. I don't really want to struggle. But on the flip side, you know, maybe I wouldn't want to, like, go out and dig ditches. You know, I mean, although there's a job for everybody if you're looking and you don't care what you do. You know, but now you have a newer generation that some people are frustrated. I'll be honest. There's nothing wrong with being frustrated and not wanting to go out and really, I hate to say this because I understand. You guys know, some of y'all know I hang around with a lot of younger people. Obviously, I'm doing something that the average person my age does not do. They don't make YouTube videos. I ended up getting this. My son got me into this because he thought, you bring something to the table. If you share your knowledge with people, it will help them out. And so I do enjoy doing it. But, this younger generation, they're frustrated. The American dream is essentially gone. I mean, there's no way a kid can go to work and work hard. It's hard for them to buy a house now. I actually see jokes on YouTube. I was watching something the other day, and the person making the joke was like, hey, you could have bought my condo for $1.5 million, but instead you chose Starbucks. It's hard for people to afford stuff, and that leads into frustration, discontent, hate. Then they don't want to do it. Neglect. Once people realize what's going on, what can they do? And I understand that. I'm not going to say there's no hope for younger people. I mean, there is hope. That's why I always say invest. Invest in something solid like precious metals. Here's the thing. A lot of these younger generations, I feel bad because a lot of them are sinking their money into stocks that are overpriced. They're working hard and they're buying crypto, thinking that the crypto that they're going to buy is going to be the next Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin started at $20, and now we're through the roof. And $20 is being generous. I mean, there was people that invested in Bitcoin when it was like in change, literally. I had read an article one day about someone they traded at hundreds of Bitcoins for a sushi dinner. What do you think you think about that. Hundreds of Bitcoins. People used it as kind of a currency back in the day for, I don't want to say paraphernalia, but yeah, that's probably the best way to say it. The illicit stuff that they're not supposed to be buying online. Well, they used Bitcoin as currency, and government came out and toted it as criminals' money. Now that it's in their best interest, they're making it out to be, stable. Cryptocurrencies, stable coins, it's the way of the future, this and that. That's what they're toting. Why? Because it's in their best interest now. They understand that the dollar is going away, and stable coins is a way for them to kind of, I believe, collapse the currency and essentially keep the people in the currency while it collapses. Here's why I say that. Think about this. Stable coins means that people have to, whoever owns the stable coin, the manufacturers of them, the creators of them, they have to put away $1 essentially for every stable coin that's backed to the dollar. So if they're putting those dollars away, what is not happening to those dollars? Those dollars are not being circulated by people, which means they can print even more and the inflation doesn't show up quite as quickly. And kind of what, when they created the dollar, they had to have people taking the dollars. They had to find ways to do it. So, they had the gold-backed dollars. They have essentially had oil-backed dollars. And I know right off someone's going to be like, well, it wasn't technically backed by oil. And that's true, it wasn't. But they're manufacturing a demand for them. If you can only pay your taxes in dollars, what do you have to do? You have to go to work, save dollars, hold them, and then you pay your taxes at the end of the year. That's creating a demand for the paper dollars. And the more dollars that are being saved, the less they're being circulated, racking up prices, inflation. If all of a sudden they came out and they printed, $5,000 for every American, what do you think that would do? Every American's going to have $5,000 just to go out and spend. Then naturally prices are going to go up because there'll be more dollars than there are items in the system. As you start to understand this, you understand what's really happening. They're looking for ways to convince people to hold dollars. Stable coins, that's just the newest idea. But back to people looking for get rich quick. People don't want to hold an asset that's just holding value. They want to be rich now. They're tired of the way things are. I kind of got mixed feelings on this because, I tried to teach my son the importance of sound money, real money, not paper. Gold, silver, that stuff comes first. I won't say the priority of life, but it's definitely the priority over paper currency. You want to pay yourself first. You want to put away a little money for the rainy day that could be coming down the line. And I believe, and a lot of you know this, based on yesterday's video, you should know this, that 1929, was a hard time for a lot of people. That brought us into the Great Depression. I believe we're getting closer and closer to that happening again. We see stuff happening. We see collapses happen in 2000 and, we can say 2020 during the whole cough. We can say 2011 during the housing crisis. We can say 2000 during the dot-com bubble. As you go back, we've seen crashes happen every so often. We haven't really seen one happen in a while. I know some people will say, well, technically we've seen one 4 years ago during the whole cough. And I apologize. If you don't know what I'm saying when I say cough, you have to understand. These videos do not get shared if I say the wrong word on here. So certain words I don't say, And you can literally look at my videos and look. If you watch every video and you hear me say something I'm not supposed to say, you look at the views and all of a sudden you realize, oh man, he must have said something bad in that video because that video didn't get shared at all. 342 when before that it was 600 or right after that it was 625. You can spot which videos I've said stuff that I'm not supposed to say. It's sad, but essentially, YouTube is owned, I don't want to say by the man, but if they don't want us talking about something, they can. It's their platform. So back to what I was saying, though, the whole cough, some people will say was not really a crash because it was artificial. And maybe I might believe that a little bit. It definitely was a lot of manipulation that happened during that time. You had oil go to negative. Think about that for a minute. People had contracts and they had to pay someone to take them from them. Why? Because when that oil got delivered, where were you going to deliver it? My swimming pool? If I had a swimming pool. I don't have a swimming pool. Not yet. Someday maybe. But you have to understand what's going on and why this is all happening. A lot of countries around the world don't want to hold our dollars anymore. A lot of central banks around the world are saying, you know what? Why do we want to hold dollars when we can just hold physical gold? And some people are seeing the trend that's coming. If you're in the stacker community, you understand what's happening. You're playing the trend. You're picking up precious metals now so they'll be worth more money later. And if the dollar does collapse, which I know some people don't believe it could ever collapse. Some people maybe out there want to see it happen because they've got a bunch of precious metals. There was a time when I wanted to see it happen. But then, I have these long talks with my son where we discuss financial stuff and we really think outside the realm. He's younger than me. He has different viewpoints, but we share a lot of stuff too. And so he told me, he's like, you got a nice retirement. At some point, you're going to get Social Security, and that's money that will come in every month. Do you really want to see that go away to see your silver collection go up in value? Think of how miserable you will be and think about how the world will be. And that's the key right there. How will the world be when everything collapses? Yeah, we might be okay. Myself and the people listening to this video and maybe our loved ones will be okay because we'll have our precious metals to protect us and guide us and help, essentially make sure we get the items we need, the food, whatever it may be. But the majority of society are not prepared, not in the least. They don't have precious metals. They don't have a stockpile of food or an arsenal to protect themselves. They're not prepared. And if you tell them prepare, where do you draw the line? I mean, if you tell them prepare for 3 days, okay, I'll be honest. I think the majority of people out there could prepare for 3 days. A week? Maybe. 2 weeks? That gets a little harder. You could if you know what you're doing. A month? Not a chance. I think the majority of people do not have the resources to prepare for 1 month of hard times. What does hard times mean? The power grid going down, the grocery stores not getting food, pumps running out of gas, just stuff not moving, supplies not moving around the country. There's a lot of different things that could happen. How prepared are you for these things? You know, I talk about this stuff periodically. I've done videos on how to preserve rice. I mean, you remember when you could buy basically a 30-pound bag of rice for next to nothing, a 50-pound bag of rice for next to nothing from Sam's Club? I did videos of those 5-gallon buckets, Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, food-grade buckets filled with rice and beans for basically $20 each. Yeah, the beans costed a little bit more, but the rice costed a little bit less. You could literally get a bucket of each for under $50 and put it away. Now, some people would be like, what do you need all that rice for? It doesn't go bad if you've done it right. It will always be there. It's an insurance policy. What do you need $1 million policy on your house for? Oh, well, if my house blows away in a storm and it's worth $1 million, I'd like to have it back. Do you think they'll be able to pay everybody if something bad happened like that? Look what happened during, I think was it Katrina or Harvey or one of them. I don't remember which hurricane it was. But Windstorm was pretty much out of money. Stuff was going bankrupt. Literally. We were a step away after after Harvey from not being able to pay nothing. They said if they had another hurricane that year, we would have been sunk, essentially. You know, but people buy that. Where do you draw the line on what a prepper should prep for? Everybody out there is a prepper. If they have, like I said, insurance on your phone, you're preparing that you might break your phone. If you've got insurance on your car, you're preparing for an accident. What's the probability of that happening? I broke my phone many of times. I haven't had many car accidents. Let me knock on wood. You know, people buy insurance for everything. Why do people not put a little bit of food preparation insurance away to know that you'll have food if something bad happens, that you're not going to go hungry? Rice and beans, you could survive off it. You may not like it after a couple weeks, but you'd live. Precious metals, financial insurance. In case everything else collapses, gold and silver will be there. I had someone leave me a comment the other day, said gold and silver is not going to help you as much as you think. People would prefer Bitcoin. And I said, are you kidding me? I couldn't believe it. I said, if the system collapses, let's just say for a minute the power grid goes down. What good is Bitcoin going to be? You won't be able to access. I won't tell you you're going to lose your Bitcoin. I won't tell you you're going to lose your crypto. Because theoretically, as long as there's one node or one server or one person mining, there's still the blockchain running. There's someone has the ledger. But will you be able to access it if the grid goes down? Well, you can access gold and silver. If you own it, you hold it, you got it. Somebody will trade it. Well, no one's going to trade food for gold and silver. Why not? You think the grid will stay down for the rest of eternity? That would be an opportunity for you to collect, get rid of some rice and beans, and get jewelry. Trade it. Rings, necklaces, whatever the case may be. The system will eventually come back on. Gold and silver has been money since the beginning of time. What do you think in the old days when people actually had to work for food and had to grow their own food did? Well, yeah, they accepted something of value for something else. If you just grew a whole crop full of corn on the cob, let's say, you got all those cobs of corn sitting there. You can't eat them all. You got to get rid of them. What can you do with them all? Yeah, you might trade some to some of the neighbors, but you still got too many. What do you do with them? One of the other problems I see today, and it's been a little while since I've talked about it, is the difference between a productive society and a consumption society. Are you going through life consuming, or are you producing? Are you using up what's out there? The resources, supplies, your energy, your time? Or are you producing something that other people can use, and you're taking something for your time? If you go to work 40 hours a week, well, you're giving someone 40 hours of your time, and hopefully you're getting something in return for it. You're probably getting a paycheck. And that paycheck is believed by most to be able to get you the items that you want. Maybe go out to a nice dinner, maybe down payment on a car, maybe working on paying on your house. You're giving up something to get something. That will always be a thing. It's not going to go away, despite what people tell you. There's a million reasons out there that people will try to give you on why you should not buy precious metals like gold, silver, platinum, palladium, whatever. There's a reason for everything. However, there's also people out there that are giving those same reasons to convince you to go into something else for selfish gain. Why? If I can put you in T-Square stock, hey, then my company would get the money. If I can put you in my buddy's stock, hey, I'll get a nice commission maybe. If I can put you in something else, well, I can keep buying silver cheaper because someone ain't buying it all up. You know, we've been having a lot of gold flood into this country lately. Where's it all going? It's going somewhere. Who's buying it? We don't know. We've talked about this too before on a video. You know, society is at a point right now where we are close to just totally collapsing. I don't tell you this to try to scare you. That's not my objective in this video or any of my videos. I tell you this so you can prepare. If you knew today that the weather was going to be really bad, you got a snowstorm coming in, and I know some of you, if you're like me and you're in Texas, you're like, I wish. But let's just say for a minute, you knew the weather was going to be snow, ice, and sleet. Would you still want to drive to work? Would you want to take your kids to work? No. Your kids to school? No. You wouldn't want to risk it. Why do people risk on investments that are just really on the edge of essentially a bubble, a collapse? We've seen it time and time again, all the way back. We've seen the .com. Remember the .com bubble? Some of y'all remember this. When literally websites, all they had was a name, and people were buying them. I think pizzas.com is going to be the next big thing. I'm going to buy shares of it. Why? They have no production. They have no equipment. They have nothing. What do they have? They have a name. They have a plan, but is that anything? And all of a sudden it all came down, and people realized we're buying nothing. We're buying thin air. You think that day won't come with cryptocurrencies? Maybe 2025, maybe 26, maybe 27. Do I think all cryptos are going to be gone? No, I don't think that. Just like all .coms didn't go away. What came out of that? There was some good stuff that came out of that. We got Amazon.com. We got eBay.com. There's a lot of good websites that came from that. But there's a lot of people that lost hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars pouring into assets that had no value whatsoever. Once you realize that, you realize, where can I put my money that it's going to grow? I want to start early. I've trained my son, start saving now and save in an asset that goes up in value. At a certain point, your assets will grow faster and faster than you can even work and make money. You could have a day where you're making more money than going to work. Once you're there, you're in a whole different bracket now. You're positioned yourself to do really well. So once you realize that, hey, now you don't really have anything to worry about. You just have to find a way to get there and start essentially getting on the right path. And that's kind of where I believe precious metals come in. It's a way to save in something that is going up in value. Will there be a time when gold could shoot up to some crazy number, or silver could shoot up to $500 an ounce, and then all of a sudden get crushed down to $300? And there'll be people that will be complaining, I bought it at $500 and I lost money. I'll never recover my money. Now it's only worth $3. I'm down 40% of my investment. Okay, yeah. You bought when it was a hype. You bought during the craze. You should have been buying when people didn't like the asset. Right now, there's a lot of people out there. The majority of the people do not like gold and silver. I remember when I told you guys I was buying Doge. Everybody laughed. A lot of people laughed. Some of y'all that are watching the channel, you didn't laugh. One guy, the next town over, he matched what I bought. The only difference between me and him is I cashed out after I made a nice little profit. He rode it all the way up to over $100,000. He could have done a lot better if he had gotten out, but he didn't. And he rode it all the way back down to basically where I got out at. I don't know which one did better when you really think about it, because his is worth pretty much what I got out at. I got out too soon, and he stayed in too long. There was probably a fine line there. You could have done better if you had really planned it. But, hey, hindsight is always going to be 20/20. Don't try to get rich quick. Play the game the way it's meant to play. Take your time. Enjoy life. Enjoy the process of creating wealth. Have a little fun. I'll be honest. I have some friends tease me. They're like, you don't spend enough to have fun. I realize that. I'm a little bit addicted to investing. If something comes up that I think is a good investment, I want to go in hard because I want that home run. I want that grand slam. Some people will focus and be prepared when the day comes. Some people will look back and say, I wish I had. And that's it. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you hit that thumbs up button for me. Hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear y'all's opinions. I love hearing what you guys think about the videos. I can't thank y'all enough for watching. If you made it to the end, say, I made it to the end. I love hearing that. It almost never gets old, because then I know, people actually do make it to the end. These long videos, especially this one, because I thought it was going to be a short video, sometimes are hard for people to keep their attention span for that long. I actually have a friend of mine, he always tells me Americans can't keep their attention span. If they're in America, they're losing focus after 5 minutes. And who knows, let's see what this one was. 28 minutes, so it wasn't super long. I'm still under 30, so thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and I will see you guys again Monday, unless you're here for the live stream this weekend. I will be doing a live stream for sure this weekend. I just don't know if it'll be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I always get asked what time. Probably around 8:30 to 9 o'clock Central. The event will not start until 9:15, give or take. So if you're like watching, if you hop on at 9, you might have missed a little bit of talking, but you won't miss the event, because if I like to let people build up and get a few people to witness stuff. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you all again Monday for sure, though, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.